All right. Welcome back to No Filter MMA. This is your boy BJ back with a final look video. This is my final video before this fight happens today. Today this is going down. Not tomorrow, not next week. Today we have arrived, guys. And I want to talk about my final thoughts on SUMIKO INABA versus DAKOTA DITCHEVA. Shout out to my boy Combo Breaker 99, for doing the DAKOTA DITCHEVA fight footage, doing the fight breakdowns of DAKOTA DITCHEVA, and I've seen some things, excuse me, I've seen some things in DAKOTA DITCHEVA that I hadn't seen before, you know what I'm saying? But I want to talk about pretty much kind of like keys to victory, but just how I think the fight is going to play out and what I think each fighter should do to secure the bag. Listen, guys, I was never against DAKOTA DITCHEVA in this fight. Once again, it's just all about the level of competition that she's facing. You know what I'm saying? Now, if she was rematching Jenna Bishop or something like that, I would securely pick DAKOTA DITCHEVA. But when you see, when you have those outliers in PFL like SUMIKO INABA or, Liz Carmouche or, Kana Watanabe or, people like that, you have to kind of, slow down a second and make a smart decision. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I feel like I did in this fight with SUMIKO INABA and DAKOTA DITCHEVA. I'm like, pump the brakes a second. Let's dissect SUMIKO INABA as a fighter. You know what I'm saying? Let's see exactly who she is coming into this DAKOTA fight. And are there ways that I think SUMIKO can win? Absolutely. Are there ways that I think DAKOTA can win? Definitely. You know what I'm saying? I think what SUMIKO INABA has to do, and I was listening to Combo's video, he was right, keep it close. Don't try to strike on the outside with DAKOTA DITCHEVA because that is where she's most powerful, and we've seen people like Jenna Bishop be able to take her down. You know what I'm saying? Like DAKOTA can be taken down, and I think that's where SUMIKO, but one huge thing that I think SUMIKO has that can work for her is her clinch game. Guys, the clinch game thing doesn't go away just because we're talking about PFL, okay? You know what I'm saying? Like, being able to fight and do damage in the clinch is a huge wild card that all fighters don't have. A lot of fighters don't have that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of fighters do not have that, but SUMIKO INABA does. SUMIKO INABA has great elbows in the clinch. She frames really well in the clinch. She has good control in the clinch. You know what I'm saying? So, and when Mackenzie Stiller was trying to take SUMIKO INABA down, SUMIKO INABA showed some good jiu-jitsu. Now, I didn't watch a whole lot of, I didn't go through all of SUMIKO's fights this week, which I should have. I didn't go through all of her fights this week, but, there's other fights where SUMIKO INABA showed her jiu-jitsu, you know what I'm saying? But when she, grappling with Chelsea Hackett, who had a fully locked-in armbar and things like that, SUMIKO is good at scrambling and transitioning. But another thing that she's really good at is the knees to the body, punches to the body, elbows to the face, and punches to the face while in the clinch. She's a very active clinch fighter. You know what I'm saying? So, but, everywhere she goes, there's going to be, I'm not saying that SUMIKO INABA is going to go in here and implement her game plan with no resistance at all. Everywhere she goes, DAKOTA DITCHEVA is also good there. DAKOTA DITCHEVA's knees and body work, punches to the body, man, that is some of the best, if not the best, in women's MMA right now. That her work to the body, she found a loophole, and she's busting that loophole wide open, and I like that. I love that about DITCHEVA. And DITCHEVA's going to have to exploit, the fact that SUMIKO INABA can get stuck in doing the same thing over and over as far as like at range. You know what I'm saying? Like if she gets stuck with that double jab, I don't want to see SUMIKO get stuck with that double jab. But if she gets stuck throwing that double jab and not following up with that big right hand Because SUMIKO's got knockout power too. You know what I'm saying? She's dropped girls and knocked girls out just as well as Dakota Ditcheva has. You know what I'm saying? I want to see if SUMIKO's not sitting down on those punches and really trying to put some damage on Dakota Ditcheva. Dakota Ditcheva can take full advantage of that gear that SUMIKO INABA can get stuck in. I don't want to see SUMIKO get stuck in that gear. If you're the double jab is great, but follow it up. Follow it up with a low kick, a low leg kick. Follow it up with a high kick. Follow it up with a big right hand. Like, let's go out here and try to put some damage on Dakota. That's the only way she's gonna win this fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it's a striking, you know, if it takes place at range. You know, and Dakota's got one of those weird bodies, you know what I'm saying? She's got one of those weird Joanna bodies, Maria Agapova bodies, you know what I'm saying? That long frame where, you know what I'm saying, she really extends her punches, you know what I'm saying, and fights very long, uses her legs, uses her arms, uses everything. You know what I'm saying? She got kind of that hunched over frame, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a recipe for disaster for anybody that steps in there with her, you know what I'm saying? Not saying she beats everybody, but, you know, that's something that everybody's got to deal with when they fight Dakota Ditcheva, is that frame. You know, so I just think that SUMIKO needs to, you know, show some good defense, but I really, you know, show some good defense and use her footwork. That's a huge thing here. The footwork. Dakota Ditcheva doesn't seem to be the most flight of foot fighter out there. You know what I'm saying? SUMIKO INABA has much, much better footwork than Dakota Ditcheva. And SUMIKO uses those jabs at angles, you know, and she's going to have to use that. You know, make Dakota Ditcheva chase her, and then when the time is right, you know what I'm saying, get that takedown, change levels. SUMIKO will change levels. She will throw a big punch, and then she will change levels. I've seen her do it in multiple fights. You know, so SUMIKO just has to, you know, SUMIKO has to be creative and use every ounce of her fight IQ that she can. You know what I'm saying? And I think that Dakota's going to be looking to hurt SUMIKO. She's going to be looking to, you know, kind of get SUMIKO out of there early. But SUMIKO, like I said, you know, like we've seen throughout these fight footages and fight round by rounds that we've been watching, SUMIKO INABA is a dog. SUMIKO INABA is a dog. You know, and if she can drag Dakota into these later rounds, man, because I would see Dakota Ditcheva getting tired before I saw SUMIKO INABA, and that's only because Dakota Ditcheva has got that curse of finishing everybody early, man. That applies to Dakota Ditcheva. Let's not act like that doesn't apply to Dakota Ditcheva. It applies to Dakota Ditcheva. You know what I'm saying? Going late and deep in the third round, late second round, third round. Let's see what the cardio is about. Because we know SUMIKO INABA's not going to slow down, you know? But like I said, I think that Dakota Ditcheva can take full advantage of that gear that SUMIKO gets stuck in, if she gets stuck in it. You know what I'm saying? If she just gets stuck in that double jab, like, take advantage of it, take her head off, and then be done with it, you know? But if SUMIKO can find her rhythm, all SUMIKO has to do is find her rhythm. Find her rhythm and mix it up. Don't get stuck in one gear. Find your rhythm, mix it up, and let's go in here and let's have the biggest upset. You know what I'm saying? One of the biggest upsets in PFL history. You know, SUMIKO's the underdog, man. Like, this is the biggest fight. This is a career defining moment for SUMIKO INABA. If SUMIKO loses, do I think she continues? Absolutely. Like, I don't think she's done after this. I don't think she, you know, will be less of a fighter after this. You know, but if SUMIKO INABA wins this fight, you know, watch, you know, the whole narrative on SUMIKO INABA changes. You know what I'm saying? And everybody's going to have some respect for SUMIKO, because the disrespect for SUMIKO ahead of this fight is at an all-time high. It's for somebody who goes out there and performs like SUMIKO INABA. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand if it was somebody we relatively didn't know, you know, didn't have a whole lot of footage on or something like that. Like, I could understand if it was that. But we're talking about an 8-1 fighter who we've seen, where damn near all of her fights are available to be watched. And we've seen countless finish after finish after finish, knockout after knockout. You know what I'm saying? We've seen this happen, you know, and still, you know, the Dakota Ditcheva fans are blinded, you know, blinded by a pretty face, but it's not just a pretty face. You know, they see 1 or 2 fights of Dakota. They see her beat up Jenna Bishop, then they see her beat up Tyler Santos, and oh gosh, she's better than Valentina Shevchenko. If you don't believe me, check the comments on Combo's video. It's crazy. You know, they saying she's better than Valentina, better than Erin Blanchfield, better than Natalia Silva, better than Manon Fiore, better than Macy Barber. Like, this is crazy. That part is still wild, you know. But at the end of the day, guys, I want to see a good fight. I don't want to see a first round finish from either fighter. I don't want to see a first round finish from either fighter. I want to see these girls fight it out and show us what they're made of. Show us what you're made of, you know? I want to see SUMIKO show us some good defense, because that's where she's lacking. And I want to see Dakota DITCHEVA show some patience and some footwork, because that's what she's lacking. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, guys, let me know what you think. That's my final prediction. I'm not picking in this fight. I'm not picking. I want to see a good fight. That's it. I want to see a good fight. This is, I want actually, no, don't do the ending yet, BJ. I want to see both girls put a good account of themselves in this fight. I want to see these girls. I want both of these girls to walk away with us feeling the same way we felt in that last Julia Pilastri fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see them girls walk away like that. You know what I'm saying? I want to walk away saying, man, what a fucking fight. That's what gets my juices flowing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want to see a good fight. This is your boy BJ, back from No Filter MMA. Drop those comments in the comment section. Hit that like, hit that dislike, and if you guys haven't already, hit the subscribe button, and your boy is out.